Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here, and this is Golden Opportunities Coaching YouTube page. Welcome to those of you who are new. Welcome back to those of you seasoned veterans of what we do around here. What we do around here is we bring about conversations about a variety of topics, social, emotional, and coaching related. We try and do that as often as we can, most times daily. Some days we miss some days, but get over 500 audios available in a wide variety of topics for your listening pleasure. Hopefully something that you can connect with. Ultimately, that would be beneficial and useful and all that good stuff. Anyway, uh, if you are looking to connect with somebody to kind of up your motivation, keep motivated, um, stay motivated, and kind of acknowledge if you might have some issues in motivation, would love to be of service to you. Go to at PO Perception on Twitter or the About Me section of this YouTube page. You can find those contact information for me in either of those areas, and we can go from there. But the topic for today is we're going to talk about what will kill your motivation. The first thing that will kill your motivation is if you make your goals all or nothing related. And what that means simply is that if you are looking at your goals as I either succeed or I fail, and you go right to the goal without necessarily having a clear pathway of steps. Step one, step two, step three, step four. This is what I need to do. This is how I need to bring things forward. This is what I need to accomplish. And you're kind of looking at your approach as rather pass or fail as opposed to something more progressive, productive, like this is step one, and then we'll move to step two, and then we'll move to step three, so you can enjoy the process, but also get in line with progress, thus feeling better about whatever you're trying to accomplish in the larger scope of things. You will, in fact, fall short of your own expectations most of the time. The next thing is to look for perfection from yourself or from others. The illusion of perfection is one of the most damaging things that could ever happen to an individual. The illusion of perfection is the idea that there is one right way to do something, and the problem with that is who determines the one right way. Now, you could make things really simple and say, well, it's the right way if it's successful, but, that's also including the possibility of like jumping steps, such as being dishonest or lying or stealing or manipulating in another way in order to get things done. Does that encompass the possibility of being, perfect, negative, and or, is it going to set you back? And are you willing to be, quote, perfect by skipping steps? Are you willing to deal with the consequences thereof? Plus, the illusion of perfection that doesn't exist. Perfect for you and perfect for me could be two different things. Which of us gets to determine who has the perfect one right way to do or say or become anything? The next is comparison. So, the illusion of competition holds more people back from accomplishment than almost anything in the world. The idea that this person is better than me, this person is worse than me, therefore I have to be better than this person, or I have to be better in general because if I'm not better, people will leave me behind, or any other negative narrative will hold you back because while you're looking at the competition and seeing if you're ahead of them or behind them, you will in fact be wasting time, energy, effort, focus, the ability to achieve. And achievement is an important part of, at least partially, an important part of how to move forward. So, the next thing in this particular process to look at, or at least consider looking at, is that you you can kill your own motivation by procrastination. So there are a million reasons that we can get distracted. We can get distracted by social media. We can get distracted by a phone call. We can get distracted by entertainment. We can get distracted by a mental health challenge like depression, anxiety, frustration, anger. We can get distracted by singular conversations. We can get distracted in our own thoughts. Getting distracted on a deeper level isn't necessarily a bad thing unless it leads you to make decisions based from the distraction. That is, to procrastinate to a point where you're not accomplishing what you set out to. Then you have to deal with two things. You have to deal with the negative emotions related to the idea of that which you didn't accomplish, and you also have to deal with the negative emotions related to whether or not you feel that you have really done what you think you should have, or did you really accomplish, everything that matters to you in the way that's there. Now, the more you think about what you did or didn't accomplish, the more likely it is to get even deeper into the negativity of competition or the illusion thereof, because then you'll start to think, I didn't do it, which means I have to rush, which then means you try to go from procrastination into hyperaction, which isn't going to be helpful either. Finding a slow and steady pace, or a brisk pace if you're ready for it, but finding good pacing for yourself to make accomplishments is one of the most important things that you will ever need to learn to do. The next thing is, you don't have a plan. You don't have a plan for the unforeseen. You don't have a plan for if something catches you off guard. You don't have a plan for if, what you are looking to do isn't possible in that moment, or needs to be delayed, or needs to be sped up. The more plans you have, the easier it is to reach your goals. Now, it doesn't mean you have to plan for every unforeseen circumstance. However, the more circumstances you plan for, the easier it is to deal with challenges. But you should have a worst case scenario, a best case scenario, and two or three things that you can look at and say, if this goes wrong, because this is one of the most likely things to go wrong, here's what I would do. The next is not taking care of your body, thus putting yourself into burnout mode, thus making it nearly impossible to accomplish much. This is extremely common for people who are trying to make up for lost time, and or they have put themselves against the wall with deadlines to the point where they don't have time to, or they perceive they don't have time to take care of themselves properly. When one doesn't have time to take care of themselves properly, and that becomes a concurrent thought or concurrent way of being, what begins to happen is they make a bunch of irrational, often, or foolish, sometimes, decisions which ultimately lead to a great deal of challenges, struggles, frustrations, and ultimately leads them in a negative direction. So hopefully this is helpful. I encourage you to keep your feet on the ground, your mind in the moment. Till next time, everybody.